Ah God, wetin our eye no go see. Na only prayer wey we go dey pray this time. Make things no reach our tongue worse to make everything no just go like that. Now cold na be dey catch me now I go carry chapa. May I first drop that one. They propose say make dem return the Nigeria old national item. At my age, I never felt hear am before as young as I am. But the funniest thing is when I listen to the old national item, na new thing for my ear. And the reason why they give say they want change the new national item to the British national item is not being clarified. Una go be Nigerians when they see they don't they carry on and they go. And they feel they talk and Nigeria is make I talk and be like say they don't sell Nigeria on our behalf. But waiting they pay me, I go like take my share.
And proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain.
Yesterday, they passed the first, second, and third bill quickly. I mean, nostalgic, right? I mean, I don't. But some people have had issues, especially with the lyrics. Let me take David Hudain's tweet. He wrote, "The only thing I have to say about the proposed return of the Nigeria's old anthem is that the word tribe is a backhanded insult. Nobody described 6.5 million Flemish Belgians as a tribe. 42 million Yoruba people are also not a tribe. Get rid of that word." All right, well, you know, we have our very good friend, Sonny Iroche, who has always advocated for this bill. I mean, like we were saying earlier, it resonates with, people that were born in the 1940s to baby boomers, 1970s. Let me just read Sonny Iroche's response to that. He says that, the reason given for changing the anthem is not convincing. The argument that the word tribe is offensive is unfounded, as it simply refers to a community united by common customs and traditions. Additionally, dismissing the old anthem because it was written by a British expatriate is short-sighted. We should not discard our history and heritage simply to distance ourselves from colonial past. I mean, I don't know if that's sentimental as well, but go ahead.
Most on Iroche, I disagree with you. And I disagree strongly this morning.
You also disagree.
And the truth has to be said. I know you people have nostalgic past of when Nigeria used to walk, but we can also make it work. This anthem written is a fabulous one that we're using, Arise, O Compatriots. It's a rallying cry for Nigeria as against the very colonial, insulting British Nigeria we held our own dear native land. My boss Sonny Iroche knows that the British actually used to call us native because they saw us as primitive. And that anthem was a disposition of it. In fact, other people too have pushed that even the name, Flora Shaw, we could also look at that name. You see, we could also bring back our indigenous flair, rather than constantly, saying because we have a colonial past, we should pivot towards a colonial past. We also do these things for the generations yet to come. And I think this is not the priority of the National Assembly, where people are being killed, people are hungry, people are suffering. I think it's just a reflection of the joblessness those ones have, as far as I'm concerned. If you're saying it passed the test, have you read the second stanza of the national anthem that says, "O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know"? What better prayer do we need at a time where our leaders look like they lack guidance and direction? Help our youth the truth to know. And this is a clarion call and our pledge, which is okay. But I understand people that had a nostalgic past So this was what they sang in the colonial days. Everything was prim and proper. The colonial did to you what they call indoctrination, and they made you feel less of yourself. Yesterday, I put out a document that pretty much caused a lot of stir on social media, where I actually showed Nigerians, and for those that keep claiming they built Lagos, I actually showed Nigeria when the British started allocating lands and named this area we are around VI, Victoria Island, in commemoration of the 50th anniversary of Queen Victoria. All right? I think that place used to be called something, Okun, Erokun or Eko Okun or something, in 1877. So, I know people still like to clutch on to the good old colonial days, but we should grow up for that and have our own mentality and emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery, not going back to an anthem that calls us I don't have a problem with the word tribe. Our own dear native, which is a connotation. Go and read Lord Lugar's book, The Dual Mandate, that I wrote in the 1920s. Yeah. How he kept on calling nativists. We need to emancipate ourselves from moral. See, before the British came, after they took over Lagos in the 1860s thereabout, we had our own culture, we had our own attributes. We should be able to promote that.
All right.
And support our own. We have our own indigenous things. Isheya Omo Ogun.
Emancipate
yourself from mental slavery. None of us can free our mind.
You are. Said his One Nation song should also be adopted as one of the
that's the thing we should promote. Not some British expatriates of our own dear native land. And we are happy playing video where Igbo people are looking at the flag.
However, the video is not the song, so we can change this. Okay, so my first bias is the fact that this anthem, the one that we sing now, was written by Nigerians.
Yes.
That's my first bias. Yeah. Nigeria We Hail Thee, with all its good intentions and nice lyrics, was written by Lee Jane William in 1959. She's not Nigerian, and unfortunately, no matter how much they identified with Nigeria at the time, cannot understand the Nigerianness of Nigerians. And so the pride in the fact that a Nigerian wrote the anthem that we currently sing is one advantage in that regard. The second part is that look at the lyrics of the new anthem in its glory. It talks about the labor of our heroes past.
Yes, now.
That is captured in our new anthem. The fact that we talk about service to our nation is captured in our new anthem. The fact that we talk about one nation bound in peace and unity, as opposed to saying, oh, even though we are different tribes, we are we're taking away the disunity and just focusing on one nation that's bound in love and unity. And that's, for me, is a national pride. I mean, like you mentioned, Rufai, some people have said that the second anthem is a prayer. So
it's a prayer. Oh, God of creation.
You speak over Nigeria. I understand the nostalgia for a lot of people who are older. I've heard so many older people talk about, and I use the word older so that they won't come for me, in terms of people who were born much earlier, when they sang this song, and they
definitely weren't born in 1960.
I definitely wasn't. So it's the nostalgia of singing it in your schools and just the pride that it brought. But unfortunately, when you think of the historical context of it and the fact that people like Paben Odiase wrote this anthem, that it should invoke in us even more national pride. I think beyond changing our national anthem, let's fix the issues that plague us, especially in regards to disunity. The use of ethnic or religious slants to divide the people for political reasons. Those are the things we should address. What is the National Orientation Office doing? What are they doing? What's the allocation given to that? To unite Nigerians in terms of the fact that we are bound in unity and love. That's what I want to look at. Let the House think of ways when you fix the problems, take away poverty, people are able to embrace a sense of national unity, not just by changing our national anthem.
All right, love it. We'll take another story. Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka has yet again questioned the leadership potential of Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, stating in a recent interview that he's unfit to govern Nigeria. Soyinka cited the conduct of his supporters, known as the Obedience, during the 2023 election campaign as a disqualifying factor. Let's take a look.
I hope for the sake of the nation that he doesn't express interest in the next election. Because for me as a leader, if there was any proof that he was unfit to lead that country, it's in the conduct which he encouraged among his followers. I know for a fact, and I can give you an instance which proves that he was in control of those forces, simply because when he first came to visit me, I remember the moment when he took out his computers, something, and after he made a statement like, "Oh, don't worry, everything, will be taken care of. You don't have anything to worry about these people." He was talking about the quote-unquote obedience. I remember he took out his computer, his phone, and he tapped, a message, there. And he shot me. I was watching him very closely. I didn't say a thing. And after that, everything seemed to be, to be nice and cozy.
All right. Professor Wole Soyinka, Nobel laureate. The last time he called Peter Obi Bajue. Remember that? Well, all right, Reactions will definitely trail this. Let us take this tweet from Distinguished, who wrote, "This was Soyinka in 2024. After almost 8 months of Tinubu, I don't criticize heads of state till after a year. So he went to Aso Rock to give Tinubu 7 points agenda. But he can criticize Peter Obi, who isn't in Aso Rock. These are the elders we should respect." Daniel Rega wrote, "Wole Soyinka is entitled to his opinion about Peter Obi and the Labour Party. But I'm yet to see him criticize the present government or those currently in power, which speaks volumes for someone who's highly respected. His bias is glaring for all to see. With his voice, he can help start serious conversations." I mean, yes, that is true. He, with his voice, definitely can start serious conversations. But that's not the only thing, Wole Soyinka talked about during that interview. He also talked about the fact that Nnamdi Kano is, should be, has a right to, agitate for a separate nation. For all he knows, he did not bomb anywhere. So, he also talked about that. But that's the type of conversations that we are expected to hear from a leader like Wole Soyinka.
One thing has to be said. I would like to ask Professor Wole Soyinka and other people, what is this thing about Obi? That means there's something, a goal you people see in this Obi. Because this man did not win elections. And after not winning elections, he's gone about conducting himself, doing his charity, but he's still the main point of conversation. Mm-hmm. So, kini gan pa Obi yi?
What does that mean?
Kini ni pato ni pa Obi? Because this man, he came to visit you. Afterwards, we all know how the visit went into a big hula baloo. I don't want to talk more about that visit because I was very privy to a lot of things that happened in that visit, and I don't want to talk, for the sake of privacy. But afterwards, he went that way, and you keep indicting him as regards to the conduct of obedience. Which are young people that have a right to react? What about the people that, did ethnic strife? What about the people that carried Oro in elections in Lagos? Professor Wole Soyinka has not said anything about that. What about people that were beaten? Professor Wole Soyinka has not said anything about. What about people in Ikota that were beaten? All of a sudden, Oro came out because of election. He's not said anything about that. But this thing is always about constantly Obi. And when we ask him to comment about the current president, I don't comment after 1 year. Now it's 1 year. Now he should comment. He will not still comment. So what is this thing really? Kini oro Obi yi ni pato? I'm asking. The same man you went a couple of months, you went to call them Bajue and all sorts of.
Yeah.
And you think people will not. And when they react to him now,
don't forget that.
You call them fascists and things like that. And this was an election that you only heard one side of the story, you were not full privy to.
Yes, but
and there are many things that you should know because Professor Wole is 90 already.
Yeah.
But we will not stop respecting him for the role he plays. I dove my heart for him because when it was time to stand tall, he stood tall in this country. And I say we have a lot of respect for him, but there are some things we say that we disagree.
Yeah.
We can respect you and disagree with you.
Yes.
So I disagree with him on this.
Yes, I actually, liked those tweets because, May 29, President Bola Tinubu, 1 year in office. I'd love to hear from him as well regarding, you know, we can't wait. I mean, May 29th is coming. We hope that he says something about this current administration, because it would definitely speak volumes, especially given the fact that he's constantly criticizing the strong opposition.
I'm one to lean towards Rufai saying, what did Peter Obi do? Because remember, he didn't even come second according to INEC.
Yeah.
He came third. So what to do about the fact that, but let me say that Professor Wole Soyinka is a well-respected elder statesman. His contributions to Nigeria, not just locally, internationally, putting Nigeria on the global map with his writings and other things, is one to be certainly celebrated. However, I think in fairness, in him being fair as an elder statesman, it would be good for him to speak in a way that is objective and across board. Professor Wole Soyinka is from Ogun State, the southwest part of Nigeria. And this is the southwest part of Nigeria, particularly in Lagos State, where we saw an election that was driven largely by, to a very large extent, let me not say largely, but significantly by ethnic slurs and ethnic divisions. And I didn't see him come out to condemn those things in very strong terms, because he ought to be proud of his own heritage, being a Yoruba man himself, and to say, no, we're not going to stand for that. Nigeria cannot survive being divided. Oji, we saw on TV where someone came and talked about Yachukudi. And talked about the fact that, they were going to, if people were told not to come and vote if they looked a certain type of way. I would have expected him to also use the same energy to speak about that. We see vitriol online, not just from the obedient he talks about, but also people who come out to say that, even people in government. Just check on YouTube.
They called me Omuale Yoruba.
Just check on YouTube, the comments. It is saddening to see that we've descended to such a level in Nigeria where the only thing we can use as an attack is the way you come from, where you are, your heritage, and that's why we talk about this whole unity in diversity. So I would expect that he should be promoting the unity of the Nigerian people, and that's why I'm glad that he spoke about the Nnamdi Kanu issue.
Yes,
I thought that brought some balance to that.
Yeah.
So the obedience, let me not lie, this obedient movement, even though it's couched under the name, calling from Mr. Peter Obi, are young Nigerians who are tired of the way Nigeria is. And so they've come out very strongly to speak against it. And to be honest, for a number of them, they saw something different in Mr. Peter Obi, a new hope, a deviation from the normal. And that's why a lot of people were willing and able to stake their lives, in quote, to support him. So it's not because he forced people or he's acting. In fact, if I would say anything, Mr. Peter Obi has conducted himself very well in the course of this and condemned actions in certain times when it came down to it. So I do believe that he should be fair and should be more in support of promoting
the idea really is that the obedience are just young Nigerians that are looking for a new wave of good governance. So they are not just supporters of Peter Obi. They really are supporters of Nigeria, wanting good governors. Well, all right, we'll take another story. Well, let's take reactions. Trailing the federal High Court's ruling in Kano, which ordered the state government not to enforce the Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024, which allowed for the reinstatement of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi as the 16th Emir of Kano. Sanusi was dethroned after falling out with the former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, in 2020. Ganduje at the time enacted a 2019 legislation which balkanized the Kano Emirate into 5 jurisdictions. The Kano State House of Assembly passed the amendment